Imagine an ancient sage holding an ancient book. There is a secret carried from centuries ago to today. Today, yours are the eyes described in the lines of that 300-year-old prophecy. A gaze that reaches beyond time and generations. Those eyes that can see the truth through the darkness. You carry a soul that grasps the details that ordinary people cannot see. The truth behind the curtains with a single glance. How many secret plans, how many deep-rooted secrets have been solved? Immediately write 888 in the comments because your eyes hold the key to destiny. Today, in the light of your prophecies, everyone is beginning to understand why this great secret was written to you. There is nothing to hide anymore. The light from the depths of history is reborn in your eyes. Just imagine a mighty tree standing tall in a valley where storms have raged for decades. The thunder rolls, the winds howl, but that tree doesn't tremble. Not because it's never felt the storm, but because its roots are deeper than the eye can see. That's what it means to be chosen in a world built on illusions, a living testament to how faith can outlast even the most ruthless weather. There comes a time when the masks of power finally slip, when the game behind closed doors starts unraveling knot by knot until every hidden ambition and backroom scheme gets dragged out into the sunlight. All those who once paraded as kings and gatekeepers suddenly find themselves without a throne, realizing too late that no fortress built on deceit can withstand the truth forever. In every generation, there's a moment when the curtains get pulled back and the play is revealed for what it truly is. You might have walked through seasons where it felt like the very air was thick with secrets, like every shadow held a whisper, every handshake hid a bargain. But here's the miracle. Instead of running from the storm, you learned to plant your feet. You didn't waste your time fighting the wind or begging the rain to stop. You looked inside, found a stillness the world couldn't touch, and made that your compass. The world around you began to shift in ways that nobody could predict. The builders of sandcastles, those who spent their lives stacking up quick victories and paper crowns, now feel the ground quaking beneath them. Suddenly, the deals they made in secret rooms fall apart at their feet, their carefully constructed towers leaning and tumbling down. Where there used to be certainty in their eyes, now there's only confusion, because the game changed the moment someone dared to stand firm without fear. You see, the chosen aren't moved by the noise or the chaos. They don't get tossed around by the drama or seduced by fleeting power. They draw their strength from a well that never runs dry, a spirit that can't be measured or explained by the world's rulers. When others panicked and ran for cover, you became the shelter. While some clung to old systems and cliques, you became a witness to what happens when faith stands taller than deception. Now the ground is shifting in plain sight. Walls built to keep the truth out are now riddled with cracks, and the light is flooding in through every opening. Those who schemed in the shadows can feel the tide turning against them. It's as if the universe itself is rearranging the stage, removing every hiding place for greed and manipulation. You don't even need to fight to win. Just standing where you are, anchored in what's real, is enough to make the powers that be nervous. Behind every storm that tried to uproot you, there was a greater purpose unfolding. Every setback, every betrayal, every night you spent wondering if the world would ever change, was actually a seed being planted for a harvest of justice. And now, with every day that passes, the winds that once threatened to tear you apart are scattering the lies of the old world, blowing them away like chaff in the sunlight. The very ones who built their legacies on secrecy and manipulation now find themselves scrambling for cover. Their networks are coming undone, not because of any dramatic showdown, but because the roots of truth have grown too strong to be ignored. You're living proof that when a person stays true, when they keep standing after everyone else has given up, the whole landscape starts to change. Doors that were once locked begin to open on their own. People who never noticed your presence before suddenly find themselves drawn to your calm, your wisdom, your unshakable peace. If you feel the abundance of divine love in your heart, now is the time to share it. You can help spread God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube and contributing $20 or more. This divine gift will touch not only your life, but the souls of many through this platform. Each of you has a sacred place in God's grand design, and your generosity will be the fruit of our prayers. Act now, share your blessings to glorify His kingdom, for you were created to do even greater things in God's loving hands. May God bless you. While others chase applause or cling to the illusion of control, your quiet perseverance sends ripples through every layer of society. It's a silent revolution, a shift that starts in the heart but ends up transforming the world. All around you, the sound of old agreements breaking can be heard by anyone willing to listen. It's like watching a frozen river start to thaw piece by piece until the water finally runs free. There's a special kind of peace that comes to those who refuse to compromise with darkness. Instead of falling apart under pressure, you became a living sanctuary, a reminder that there's a place beyond fear where freedom reigns. People may not understand your journey, but they feel the difference when they step into your presence. The truth is, you never needed to fight with fists or raise your voice to be heard. Your unwavering spirit is enough to shift the energy in any room, to tilt the scales toward hope and away from despair. The same spirit that holds the planets in place is the same spirit that's been guiding you all along. While the world fixated on power plays and backdoor deals, you invested in the invisible: integrity, kindness, patience. Those things may not make headlines, but they're the only treasures that survive when everything else falls away. In this hour, all the scaffolding of the old order is being stripped away, and the only thing left standing is what's built on truth. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. It's a new day for the chosen, those who didn't just survive the storm, but learned how to dance in the rain. Every secret that once weighed you down is losing its power. Every name that was whispered against you in envy is now just a footnote in your story of victory. The panic you see in others is just the trembling of foundations that never had a real cornerstone to begin with. So keep walking in that quiet strength. Keep showing up with humility and faith. The world is watching, but more importantly, heaven is backing you. What's collapsing around you isn't your loss. It's your confirmation. The shaking isn't a threat, but a sign that the old ways are over and something sacred is rising in their place. The same God who kept you rooted through every tempest is the one raising you up now, to be a lighthouse for those still lost in the storm. And as every false empire falls, the true ones, built on love, courage, and truth, are rising with you at their center. Think of a mountain lake, crystal clear and calm, resting high above the valleys where storms rage and rivers run wild. No matter how fierce the winds howl through the pines or how much thunder shakes the hills, that lake remains steady, reflecting the sky, undisturbed by the chaos below. There's a sacred lesson in stillness that the wise have known since the beginning of time. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is not react at all. The world expects you to fight every battle, answer every insult, prove yourself at every turn. But real power is found in that quiet center where God's peace dwells, and storms wear themselves out on shores you never even have to defend. There are those who try to throw you off, stirring up trouble and hoping you'll take the bait. They work hard behind the scenes, planting traps and spreading rumors, thinking they can knock you off your path if they just push the right button. But what they can't figure out is why their efforts seem to lose steam before they ever reach you. Every time they huddle in secret, convinced they're about to tip the scales, their plans come apart. Not because you fight fire with fire, but because you let their own flames burn out all by themselves. It's like watching children try to stir up waves by throwing rocks in a deep well. The surface may ripple for a moment, but the waters always return to peace. That's the quiet power you walk in now, a spiritual composure that can't be shaken by outside noise. While others run in circles, wasting energy on feuds and petty dramas, you stay focused on your purpose. Instead of giving away your attention to every critic or adversary, you invest it like a wise gardener, tending to your dreams and nurturing what matters most. Every stone you lay in patience, every brick you set with faith, becomes a testimony to the discipline God has grown inside you. The impatient want quick results. They shout, they argue, they demand attention. But they don't see that true victory is slow, steady, and rooted in something deeper than pride. You've learned how to build in silence, trusting that the foundation laid in faith will outlast any tower built in haste. When others try to pull you into their storms, you respond by standing still. Not because you are weak, but because you know storms don't last. Purpose does. Your refusal to retaliate becomes a mystery they cannot solve. People start to wonder how you keep moving forward, unaffected by all the noise. They watch as their efforts lose power, as their stories unravel, as their schemes collapse under their own weight. Meanwhile, you keep rising, quietly, steadily, like a sunrise no one can stop. There's a divine multiplication happening in the unseen places. While your adversaries burn up their energy chasing after fleeting gains, you're harvesting peace, focus, and new strength. What looks like inaction to them is actually your greatest work. Your spirit being renewed, your vision being sharpened, your destiny being carved out, one faithful step at a time. The world measures success by how loud you roar, but heaven measures it by how deeply you trust. Dear brothers and sisters, may God's peace be upon you today. I am here to remind you of a profound truth. Our existence is grounded in God's divine plan, unshaken by the temporal concerns of the world. As the Bible says, whatever is done in faith will return to God in abundant blessing. Luke 6:38. Like that great oak tree, our roots are deeply rooted in God's universal truth. Every step we take, every stand we take, is secured by His strength. And now, you are being offered the opportunity to be part of that blessing. When you use the Super Thank You button and donate $100, this movement will return to you 100-fold in abundance. You understand now that not every hill is worth climbing. Not every insult deserves an answer. By practicing restraint, you've turned your life into a fortress of wisdom. This is what sets you apart from the crowd. Where most people get distracted by every little offense, you keep your eyes on what God is building through you. That's why your influence grows while theirs shrinks, why your spirit flourishes while theirs runs dry. As time passes, those who once mocked your stillness come to respect it. They see how you remain grounded when others are swept away by anger or fear. They notice how your peace remains intact, even when the world tries to stir you up. It's a quiet testimony that shakes the foundations of every false story told against you, a reminder that real strength doesn't need to shout or prove itself, because truth always finds its way to the surface. Your restraint has become your shield, your patience your weapon, your silence your song of victory. Where there was once a temptation to answer every attack, you've learned to rise above the fray, letting your life speak louder than any argument ever could. In doing so, you've discovered the power of choosing your battles, of knowing when to step forward and when to stand still, when to speak and when to simply let the dust settle. You are like that mountain lake, quiet, reflective, and deep. The storms that rage around you cannot reach your depths. Every attempt to draw you into chaos only strengthens your resolve to keep building, keep believing, keep rising. Your adversaries are left scratching their heads, unable to comprehend how someone can remain so unbothered in a world addicted to conflict. But the secret isn't in avoiding trouble. It's in trusting that what God is building in you will outlast every temporary storm. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. Keep stacking your stones. Keep laying your bricks. Every day you choose restraint over reaction, you make room for blessings that cannot be shaken. The world will try to pull you off center, but your peace is a light that draws others out of darkness. In the end, the loudest noise fades, but the strongest foundation endures. The fruit of your patience will feed generations, and the wisdom you've gained in silence will speak long after the chaos has passed. So stand tall, chosen one. Let your stillness confuse your critics, and your faith inspire the faithful. The victory isn't in how loud you can answer, but how firmly you can stand, trusting that in time, every secret plan meant to trip you up will turn into a stepping stone for your destiny. The world may not understand the power of restraint, but heaven knows, and your reward is already being prepared. Picture a clay pot on a potter's wheel. Unremarkable at first, just a lump of earth, rough around the edges. The potter's hands press and shape, sometimes gently, sometimes with force. Every spin, every squeeze, every moment in the fire is necessary. At times, it feels like too much, as if the vessel might crack under the heat. But the potter knows what the clay can bear. The flame that could destroy it is the same one that brings out its hidden strength, its lasting beauty. That's the miracle of divine transformation. You're not here to be broken. You're being crafted into something priceless. Life's pressure has not been your end, it's been your beginning. While others panic and run from discomfort, you have stood firm, allowing each trial to polish you like a river smooths the stones beneath its current. The storms you've weathered weren't punishments, they were invitations. Invitations to rise higher, to go deeper, to discover that real worth is not something you can fake or find in the marketplace. It's something only time, faith, and a few storms can reveal. There's a kind of calm that money can't buy, a peace that lives deep in the soul, untouched by the ups and downs of daily headlines. That's what you carry now. It isn't bravado. It's not just putting on a brave face. It's an inner knowing, a quiet trust in the Master's hands. You've been on the anvil and you've come through the fire, not because you're lucky or stubborn, but because you were made for endurance. When others fall apart, you find your center. When the world shouts for easy answers, you return to what's true. The people around you, some of them can't figure it out. They look for cracks, for signs of weakness, convinced that pressure must mean you're ready to break. But what confounds them is how you flourish in the very places where others wither. You're like a sunflower that turns toward the light, no matter how many storms sweep across the field. Your roots have grown deep enough to weather the drought. Your petals open wider with every trial. Critics have gathered, hoping to see you fail. Each time you're tested, they expect to witness your collapse. But instead, you rise higher. Their frustration grows with every fresh blossom you show, every smile you give in the middle of a challenge, every new strength that appears when others would have given up. They search for the secret, but the truth is simple. You're walking with a peace that this world can't manufacture and a hope that isn't for sale. Others chase shortcuts, grabbing for quick results and instant comfort. But you've learned that true success isn't built in a day. It's shaped by the steady hand of the Almighty, who doesn't rush the process. While some scramble for answers, you listen for the still, small voice. You know that real transformation takes time, and you trust the timing. When the pressure gets high, you don't panic. You let patience do its perfect work. That's why your confidence confounds your adversaries. They throw doubts and obstacles in your way, but you respond with the poise of someone who's seen God turn setbacks into setups, losses into lessons, and trials into triumphs. Your calm isn't born of ignorance. It's the product of wisdom gained through walking with the Lord. You're like a tree that's been through every season, standing strong when the winds howl, growing quietly through the winter, bursting with new life in spring. Others may only notice the blooms, but you know the real story is in the roots. Every challenge has sent your roots deeper, made your trunk thicker, and your leaves greener. When false accusations and rumors fly, they're met with a kind of silence that unsettles the crowd. Leadership recognizes authenticity, and the true protectors, those who see beyond appearances, choose to stand beside you. The narrative spun by your critics falls apart under the light of your steady actions, and instead of favoritism, it's discernment that shields you. Loyalty from the wise isn't a gift, it's recognition of substance over noise. Quietly, powerful hands have cleared the obstacles in your path. Those who hold real influence and discernment have noticed your quiet resolve and chosen to intervene on your behalf. In the back rooms where destinies are decided, your name is spoken with respect, not just for your achievements, but for your unwavering core. Malicious words meant to harm are intercepted before they reach you, and your place is secured by merit and trust. With each attempt to undermine you, the opposition only exposes its own weakness. Every misstep is a torch that lights up the room, making motives visible to all who matter. As desperation rises, the masks fall, and the very moves meant to harm you serve instead to highlight your worth. Their theater of conflict becomes an unintentional stage for your rising. Unseen, you have contributed to a vast undercurrent of change. Every honest word, every principled stand has been woven into a tapestry far larger than your personal story. Reports that seemed small in the moment have become pillars in a structure built for lasting transformation. The system itself, once believed to be unmovable, is now bending toward justice because 1,000 small truths have merged into a river too powerful to dam. Now is the time to share God's blessings. By clicking the super thank you button on YouTube, you can contribute to His plan and be a part of this divine mission with a donation of $100 or more. Every gift reflects God's generosity, and I believe it will return to you exponentially far beyond your expectations. Remember, His protection and blessing is on your every step and every donation. You become part of His divine plan. You are a strong, radiant being, unshakable as His mighty rock. Witness God's miracles, feel the fruits of your generosity in your soul, and illuminate the world with confidence and courage. Be blessed, and let the light of the Lord guide your path. When the machinery of exploitation moved against you, it had no idea it was fueling its own end. Every complaint, every warning was a signal flare, quiet but unmistakable, drawing attention where it was needed most. The campaign of silencing you was actually a beacon, signaling to those watching from higher ground that the time for intervention had come. There is an ancient rhythm guiding your path, older than any earthly institution. You are not propelled by politics alone, but by a deeper calling that brings unlikely allies to your side. This gathering of purpose transcends organization and title. It's a fellowship of those who see what others overlook and feel a duty that cannot be denied. The power in your story is not in the noise, but in the quiet pulse that keeps calling new hands to the work. Those who conspired against you for personal gain are facing a reckoning. Where once their secret dealings were shielded by layers of protection, the ground beneath them is now shifting. Every payment and betrayal is recorded in an account they cannot erase, and the consequences are finding their way home. What once seemed untouchable is now within reach of true accountability. Beneath the surface, a public figure whose reach spans continents is surrendering the very secrets that once built their empire. This domino has set off a chain reaction, and the hidden alliances behind the curtain are collapsing. Strategies built on deception and silent pacts are being exposed as the architecture of control dissolves under the weight of truth. The old system's pillars, long thought immovable, are now cracking from within. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. The assault on free voices, once organized with precision, is faltering. Where coordinated efforts were made to silence truth-tellers and independent creators, new alliances have taken root. Attempts to manipulate platforms and shut down dissent only reveal how fragile their control has become. Each move against the authentic only strengthens the resolve of those who refuse to be silenced. The landscape is changing in real time. No longer is information filtered by distant gatekeepers. Direct connection between those with something real to offer and those hungry for truth is flourishing. The scaffolding of the old order is falling away, and new communities are forming in the open, growing stronger and bolder with every attempt to suppress them. The value of substance is rising above the noise. Those who have always worked quietly, refusing to play the games of the powerful, are now the ones setting the tone for a new era. What once flowed only to the top is being redistributed to those whose words and work carry the weight of real experience, not empty hype. Evidence once collected in shadows is now the blueprint for new foundations. Every device meant to track and control has become an accidental witness to the truth. The documentation of each attempt to oppress has been repurposed. Now it's the fuel for justice, not intimidation. Out of the ruins, new industries are being born. Whole sectors are being rewritten, freed from the rot that kept them stagnant for generations. What was once managed by a select few is now open to be built afresh, by anyone with vision and courage. The old systems cannot contain this birth. It's as unstoppable as the sunrise. What was meant to be your downfall will be compensated beyond expectation, not just through restitution and legal victory, but in the deeper satisfaction of having transformed harm into healing for others. The story of your endurance will become the foundation on which safer, fairer communities are built. This movement is global. Others with stories like yours are rising in every field, their voices harmonizing in a chorus that will not be silenced. The breakdown of the old order is making room for a new dawn, and everywhere people are learning that authenticity is the surest protection. What once marked you as a target now distinguishes you as a leader. The journey from under siege to standing secure is the blueprint for everyone who feels called to transform adversity into something indestructible. The old powers may crumble, but those who build on truth will endure, lighting the path for generations yet to come.